They were about to kill the baby dragon. And no one was to stop them until one human stepped forward. The crowd watched in silence. No one understood why he would risk everything, for a creature everyone else had already given up on, to save a dying dragon. They would have laughed, but in just a few moments, everything they believed was about to break. The crowd gathered in silence, not the kind of silence filled with peace. This was heavy, cold, waiting. Hundreds of eyes stared down into the stone arena below. No one spoke. No one needed to. They all came for the same reason, to watch something die. In the center of the arena lay a small dragon, chained, broken, alone. Its body was thin, too thin. Its scales, once bright, were now dull and cracked. Its wings barely looked like wings anymore. Torn, damaged, one of them dragged uselessly across the ground. It tried to breathe, slow, painful, like every breath was a fight it was losing. But still, it was alive, and that was enough for them. Above, nobles sat in decorated seats, wrapped in fine clothes. Watching like this was entertainment. Beside them stood soldiers, cold faces, hands on weapons. Even children were there, some curious, some excited, none truly understanding what they were about to see. "This is justice," one man whispered. "Dragons bring death. This is mercy." Others nodded. They had heard the stories. Villages burned, people lost, fire falling from the sky. To them, dragons were not creatures. They were disasters. And disasters had to be stopped early, before they grew, before they became unstoppable. So this small, weak dragon had no right to live. A soldier stepped into the arena. His boots echoed against the stone floor. Slow, steady, certain. In his hands, the long spear. Sharp, clean, ready. He stopped just a few steps away from the dragon. For a moment, he looked at it, not with anger, not even with hate, just duty. He raised the spear. The metal tip caught the light, shining bright. For a brief second, the dragon saw it. Its body didn't move. It didn't try to run. There was nowhere to go. It didn't try to fight. It didn't have the strength. Instead, it looked around. Its eyes moved slowly across the arena, at the faces, at the crowd, at the world that had already decided its end. Confused, scared, searching, like it didn't understand what it had done wrong. Then it made a sound, small, weak, broken, not a roar. Not a threat, just a cry, like a lost child calling for someone who would never come. The sound echoed softly through the arena. For a moment, something shifted. A woman in the crowd looked away. A child frowned. Even one of the soldiers tightened his grip, slightly, but it didn't last. "Finish it," someone said. "Do it," the commander ordered. His voice was sharp, cold, final. The soldier stepped closer. He adjusted his stance, both hands firm on the spear. This was the moment, the end. The spear moved forward, slow at first, then faster. Closer, closer, just inches away. "Stop." The voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It cut through everything, like silence itself had spoken. The spear froze. Mid-air, the soldier's body locked. The entire arena went still. Every head turned at once. At the edge of the arena, someone stood. A man, just a man. No armor, no weapon, no sign of power. His clothes were simple, worn, covered in dust. His face showed tiredness, like life had not been kind to him. Nothing about him looked important. Nothing about him looked dangerous. And yet, he had just stopped everything. The commander frowned. "Who are you?" he demanded. The man didn't answer. He simply looked at the dragon. Then he started walking, step by step, calm, slow, each footstep echoing louder than it should. The soldiers reacted instantly, weapons raised, swords drawn, spears pointed. "Stay where you are," one shouted. "Another step and you die." The man didn't stop, didn't hesitate, didn't even look at them. He just kept walking, straight toward the dragon. The tension in the air tightened, like something invisible was about to snap. The commander's voice grew louder. "This is not your concern," he said. "Move aside." Still, no response. Only footsteps. The man entered the center of the arena. Now he was close. Very close. The dragon saw him. Its eyes slowly lifted, meeting his. For a moment, everything else faded. The crowd, the soldiers, the noise, all gone. Just the two of them, the man and the dying dragon. The dragon moved slightly. A weak movement, barely noticeable. But it was trying to understand, trying to feel something, anything. And then something changed. In its eyes, a small spark, faint, fragile, but there, hope. For the first time, it wasn't looking at death. It was looking at someone who had stepped in and didn't walk away. The whispers started small, like wind moving through dry leaves. Is he crazy? Does he want to die? No one walks toward a dragon. The crowd leaned forward, eyes wide, voices low but growing. Something was wrong. This was not how it was supposed to go. The man finally stopped in front of the dragon, close enough to see every wound, every crack in its scales, every slow, painful breath. Up close, the dragon looked even smaller. Not like a monster, not like the stories. Just a hurt creature that had been pushed too far. The chains around its body were thick, cold iron, too heavy, too cruel. They pressed into its skin, cutting deep. Some parts of its scales were broken where the metal had bitten too hard. And its wings, they were worse. Torn open, not by accident, not by battle. Someone had done this on purpose. The man's eyes darkened slightly, not with anger, but with understanding. He had seen pain before. Too much of it. "Why?" the man asked quietly. His voice was calm, but it carried. It reached the edges of the arena. The commander laughed. A short, sharp sound, like the question itself was foolish. "It's a dragon," he said. "That is reason enough." Some in the crowd nodded. Of course. That was always the answer. No one questioned it. No one needed to. But the man, he didn't agree. He shook his head slowly. "No," he said. His voice didn't rise, but it grew heavier. "This is not justice." A pause. Then, "This is fear." The word hit harder than a shout. The soldiers stiffened. The crowd grew uneasy. The commander's smile faded. Fear? No one called him afraid. Not in front of everyone. Not like this. One soldier stepped forward, anger in his eyes. His sword lifted slightly. "Step away," he said. His voice was tight, controlled. "Now." The man didn't even look at him. His focus stayed on the dragon, like nothing else mattered. Like the weapons didn't exist. Like death was not standing just a few feet away. The dragon's breathing slowed, just a little. Its eyes remained locked on the man, watching, waiting, trying to understand. No one had ever come this close without trying to hurt it. No one had ever looked at it like this. Without hate, without fear, the man took a small step closer. The chains clinked softly as the dragon shifted. A weak movement, but different. Not fear, not panic, something else. Then, something strange happened. The dragon moved its head, slowly, carefully, like even the smallest motion could cause pain. The crowd leaned in. Some gasped, others held their breath. Was it going to attack? Was this the moment everything went wrong? But the dragon didn't lunge. It didn't snap. It didn't show its teeth. Instead, it reached toward the man. A soft movement. Gentle, almost unsure, like it didn't fully understand what it was doing, like it was asking a question. The soldiers reacted instantly, weapons raised higher. "Don't move," one shouted. "Back away," another yelled. But the man, he didn't step back. He didn't flinch. He didn't even hesitate. Slowly, he raised his hand. The movement was simple, careful, like approaching something fragile, something that could break. The dragon stopped just inches away from him, its eyes wide, its breathing uneven. The entire arena froze. Time itself seemed to slow down. Hundreds of people watching, waiting for something terrible to happen. But it didn't. The man placed his hand on the dragon's head. Gently. No force. No fear. Just contact. The moment it happened, everything changed. The air felt different, heavier, charged. The dragon didn't pull away. It didn't react with anger. Instead, it leaned slightly into his hand, like it had been waiting for this, like it needed this. A human touching a dragon without fear. It was impossible. It should not happen. It had never happened. The crowd fell completely silent. No whispers now, no movement. Even the commander didn't speak, because no one understood what they were seeing. Then, a faint glow appeared. At first, it was barely visible. A soft light under the dragon's cracked scales. Weak, flickering, but growing. The man's eyes narrowed slightly. He didn't remove his hand. The glow became stronger, brighter, spreading slowly across the dragon's body. The chains began to tremble. A low, rattling sound echoed through the arena. Metal against metal. Shaking, unstable. The ground beneath them felt different, like something was waking up. The soldiers stepped back, just a little. Uncertain. What is happening? Someone whispered. No, this is impossible. The glow pulsed again. Stronger this time. The dragon's breathing changed. Deeper, steadier. Its eyes, they were no longer dull. They were alive, bright, burning with something new. The chains rattled harder. Small cracks began to form along the iron, tiny at first, but spreading. The man remained still, his hand still resting on the dragon, like he was part of it, like he was helping it, or maybe guiding it. The commander finally snapped out of the shock, his face twisted with anger and fear. Enough, he shouted. His voice broke the silence like thunder. This ends now. He pointed at them, at the man, at the dragon. Kill them both. The order hit instantly. No hesitation this time. The soldiers moved, fast, weapons raised, feet pounding against stone. The moment shattered. But something had already changed. Something that could not be undone. Because now, the dragon was no longer alone. The soldiers rushed forward, fast, no hesitation now. Spears ready, swords drawn, armor clashing with every step. The sound filled the arena like a storm. This was no longer an execution. This was a battle. The crowd pulled back. Some stood up, others froze in place. No one expected things to turn like this. Not here, not now, at the center of it all. The man stood still, too still, like he wasn't even part of the chaos rushing toward him, like the danger didn't exist, like time itself had slowed around him. The dragon remained beside him, its body low, its breathing steady now, but its eyes, they were no longer weak. They were watching, waiting, ready. Last chance, the commander yelled. His voice cracked through the air, loud, desperate. Step away or die with it. The man didn't respond, didn't turn, didn't even blink. The soldiers were already close, just seconds away, still ready to cut him down. And still, he did nothing. Then, he moved his lips, just slightly, a whisper, so soft that no one in the crowd could hear it. But the dragon did. The reaction was instant. Its entire body tensed, its head lifted, its eyes, they exploded with light, bright, burning, alive. A deep glow spread across its scales. No longer weak, no longer fading. This was something else, something powerful, something ancient. The first soldier reached them, his sword raised high. A clean strike, fast, deadly. He aimed straight for the man. The blade came down, but before it could hit, something stopped it. Not a shield, not a weapon, something unseen. A force, sudden, violent. The soldier's body snapped backward, like he had hit a wall made of air. Then he was thrown, hard, across the arena. He crashed into the stone ground with a heavy sound. His weapon flew from his hand. The crowd gasped, loud, shocked. What was that? Did you see that? That's not possible. The other soldiers froze, just for a second. Confusion spread through their ranks. They had trained for battle, for war, for monsters, but not for this, not for something they couldn't see. The dragon let out a low sound, not a cry this time, not fear, a growl, Deep, controlled. Warning. The glow around its body pulsed again. Stronger. The chains around it began to shake. A sharp cracking sound echoed. One link snapped. Then another. Tiny fracture spread along the iron, like it was breaking from the inside. The man took a step forward. Slow, deliberate, and now something about him had changed. It wasn't his clothes, not his face, but the way he stood, the way he moved. There was weight behind him now. Presence, like something hidden had finally stepped into the light. The soldiers felt it, even if they didn't understand it. Their grip on their weapons tightened, but their confidence, it was slipping. "You were wrong," the man said, his voice calm, steady, but stronger than before. The commander stared at him, eyes wide, trying to understand, trying to regain control. "It's not a monster," the man continued. He glanced at the dragon beside him, then back at the soldiers. "It's just a child." The words hit harder than any weapon. For a moment, no one moved, no one spoke, because deep down, they knew, they saw it, the small body, the broken wings, the fear it once had. But now, it was different. The dragon shifted. Slowly, it pushed itself up. Its legs trembled, weak, unsteady, but it stood. For the first time since being dragged into this place, it stood. The chains pulled tight around it, trying to hold it down, try to keep it where it belonged. But they were already breaking. Another crack, then another. The sound echoed louder each time. The soldiers stepped back. Not ordered, not planned. Instinct. Fear. The dragon lifted its head higher. Its eyes burned brighter. Focused. Aware. No longer lost. No longer confused. It knew now who stood beside it, who had touched it, who had chosen not to hurt it. And that changed everything. The man stepped forward again, now standing just ahead of the dragon, between it and everyone else, not hiding, not running, standing, protecting. The commander finally shouted again. "Attack!" he yelled, but his voice lacked something now. Certainty. The remaining soldiers hesitated, just for a moment, but that moment was enough. The dragon moved, not fast, not aggressive, but firm. It took one step forward. The ground beneath it cracked slightly. A soft wave of energy pushed outward, not violent, but strong, enough to make the soldiers stumble back. The chains couldn't hold anymore. With a final sharp sound, they snapped, all of them. The broken iron fell to the ground. Heavy, useless. The arena echoed with the impact. Silence followed, deep, uncomfortable. The dragon stood free, still weak, still injured, but no longer helpless. Its wings twitched slightly. Its body steadied. Its glow softened, but didn't disappear. It stayed, like a quiet fire. The man didn't look back. He didn't need to. He already knew. The dragon was no longer something to be killed. It was something that had chosen to stand. And now, it wasn't alone. Not anymore. The commander stepped back. It was small, almost nothing. But everyone saw it. For the first time since this began, he moved away, not forward, not in control. Back. His boots scraped lightly against a stone. His grip on his weapon tightened. But his eyes had changed. They were no longer filled with certainty. Now, they held something else. Fear. Real fear. The kind that creeps in slowly. The kind that doesn't shout, but whispers that something is wrong. Very wrong. "What are you?" he asked. His voice was lower now. Careful. Like he didn't want to anger whatever stood in front of him. The man finally turned to face him. Fully. Calm. Unshaken. There was no rush in his movement. No sign of stress. No sign of effort. Just quiet control. "Human," he said. The answer was simple. Too simple. For a second, no one reacted. Then the crowd began to laugh. Not loudly, not confidently, but nervously. Uneasy. "That's a joke. He has to be something else." No human can do that. Their voices overlapped. Try and make sense of what they had seen. Trying to return to something familiar, something safe. But the soldiers didn't laugh. Not even one of them. They stood still, watching, feeling it, that presence, that weight in the air. It wasn't loud. It wasn't wild like magic or fire. It was controlled, focused, like a blade hidden in plain sight. And that made it worse, because they couldn't predict it. They couldn't understand it. And that meant they couldn't stop it. The dragon moved closer to the man, slowly, carefully, each step steady now. No chains dragging it down, no force holding it back. It came to his side, close, very close, like it belonged there, like that was where it felt safe. Its head lowered slightly, not in weakness, but in trust, complete trust. It stayed beside him, not behind, not hiding, standing with him. The commander noticed it, and it made his fear worse, because dragons did not trust humans. They attacked. They destroyed. That was what everyone believed. That was what everyone was taught. But this was something else, something they had never seen before. Humans are weak, the commander said. His voice rose again, trying to regain strength, trying to take control of the moment. Fragile, short lives, no power. He pointed at the man. You expect us to believe you are just human? The man looked at him, and then he smiled, just a little, not mocking, not cruel, but calm, confident. Then why are you scared? He asked. The words landed hard, sharper than any blade. The commander froze. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came out, because there was no answer, only silence, heavy, unavoidable. The crowd fell quiet again, this time not from shock, but from realization. Something had shifted, something deep. The dragon let out a low growl, soft, controlled. It rolled through the arena like distant thunder, not loud, not wild, but clear. This was not fear anymore. This was warning, a line drawn, a message without words. Do not come closer. Do not try again. The soldiers felt it, every one of them, their bodies tensed. But none of them moved forward, not this time. The man slowly turned his head, looking up at the crowd, at the nobles, at the people who had come to watch. His eyes moved across them, one by one, seeing them, truly seeing them. You hurt something that could not fight back, he said. His voice was steady, not loud, but it reached everyone, every corner of the arena. No honor in that. The words settled heavily. Some people lowered their eyes. Others shifted uncomfortably. A few looked away completely, because deep down, they understood. They had called it justice. They had called it necessary. But standing here, watching this moment, it didn't feel that way anymore. It felt wrong. The man looked back at the commander, then at the soldiers. None of them moved. None of them spoke, because none of them knew what to do. This was not how power worked. This was not how fear worked. They had the weapons. They had the numbers. They had the control. And yet, they had nothing, because one human had stepped forward and refused to step back. The man turned away, just like that. No dramatic movement, no warning, just a simple decision. Let's go, he said quietly. The dragon reacted immediately. It stepped forward, right beside him, matching his pace. Step by step, no hesitation, no fear. The two of them began to walk, across the arena, past the broken chains, past the soldiers who no longer blocked their path. The ground echoed under their feet, each step slow, clear, final. The soldiers parted, not because they were ordered to, not because they planned it, but because something inside them told them to move, to make space, to not stand in the way. No one raised a weapon. No one gave a command. The commander watched them go, frozen, powerless. His authority, his control, everything he believed in, it meant nothing now. The crowd stayed silent, watching, some in disbelief, some in quiet understanding. The man reached the edge of the arena. He didn't look back. Not once. The dragon paused for just a moment. It turned its head slightly, looking at the place where it had been chained, where it had been hurt, where it almost died. Then it turned away and followed the man, leaving it all behind. No chains, no fear, no control, only choice, only freedom. They walked out together. One human, one dragon, and not a single person dared to stop them. The story spread quickly, faster than anyone expected, from city to city, from market to market, from quiet homes to crowded halls. People spoke about it in low voices at first, like it was something dangerous to even mention. A human who stood against an entire kingdom. For a dragon, some laughed when they heard it. Impossible. No human would do that. Others shook their heads. Foolish. He risked everything for a monster. And some, they spoke with fear. A man like that is dangerous. If he can stand against a kingdom, what else can he do? But not everyone dismissed it. Not everyone turned away. There were those who listened carefully, who thought deeply, who began to question things they had never questioned before. What if the dragon was not the monster? What if we were wrong? Those questions spread too, quietly, slowly, but they stayed. And once a question takes root, it does not leave easily. Weeks later, far away from the stone walls of the arena, far from the noise and the fear, there was a forest, deep, wide, peaceful. Sunlight filtered through tall trees. Soft wind moved through the leaves. The world here felt different, calm, alive, safe. And in the middle of that forest, the dragon stood. No chains, no wounds, not like before. Its body had grown stronger. Its scales now shone with a soft, healthy glow. No cracks, no damage. Its wings, once torn and broken, were whole again, wide, powerful. They moved slightly with the breeze, testing, feeling the air. Its eyes were bright, clear, alive with energy. No fear remained in them, only awareness, and something deeper, something that had grown over time. Trust. It was not alone. A short distance away, the man sat quietly, leaning against a tree, watching, not with control, not with ownership, but with calm understanding. Days had passed, then weeks, and through all that time, the dragon had stayed close to him, not because it was forced, not because it had nowhere else to go, but because it chose to. It followed him through the forest, watched him, learned from him, stayed near him, always, not as a pet, not as a weapon, but as something else, something rare. Family. The man never tried to command it, never tried to control it. He let it move freely, let it grow, let it become what it was meant to be. And in return, the dragon trusted him completely. A bond formed, not through power, not through fear, but through choice, through kindness, through a single moment when someone stepped in. One quiet morning, the dragon stood at the edge of a cliff, high above the forest. The wind moved stronger here, pulling at its wings, calling to it. The dragon looked out at the open sky, endless, wide, free. It had never seen so much space before, never felt something like this. Its wings shifted slightly. Instinct. Something deep inside it was waking up, telling it, this is where you belong. Behind it, the man stood, silent, watching. He understood. He always had. The dragon turned its head, looking back at him. Their eyes met. No words were needed. The moment said everything. The dragon looked back at the sky, then at him again, like it was asking a question, like it needed permission. The man gave a small nod, a simple movement, but full of meaning. You're ready, he said. His voice was soft, calm, certain. The dragon took a step forward, then another. Its claws reached the edge of the cliff. The wind rushed around it, stronger now, lifting slightly beneath its wings. Its body lowered, preparing, not with fear, not with doubt, but with purpose. Then it spread its wings, fully, wide, powerful. The sunlight caught them. For a moment, it looked like something out of legend, not a monster, not something to be feared, but something beautiful, something free. The dragon paused for just a second. Then it jumped. For a brief moment, it fell. The ground far below, the air rushing past. But then its wings moved, strong, controlled. They caught the wind, lifted its body, and suddenly it was no longer falling. It was flying, higher, higher. The forest below became smaller, the trees blending into green, the sky opening around it. Endless, free. The dragon let out a sound. Loud, clear, not a cry, not a growl. A call, a voice filled with life. The man watched from below. Still, quiet, a small smile on his face. He didn't move, didn't follow. He knew this moment wasn't for him. It was for the dragon. The dragon circled high above, testing its wings, feeling the sky, learning, growing. Then it slowed. It turned and began to descend, back toward the cliff, back toward him. It landed softly, just a few steps away. The ground barely shook. It walked forward, slow, calm, and then it lowered its head, gently, until it touched the man. A soft contact, careful, meaningful, a promise, not spoken, but understood. It would remember, always. The man reached out, placed his hand on its head again, just like the first time. But now, everything was different. The dragon pulled back, stepped away, looked at him one last time, then turned and leapt into the sky again. This time, it didn't come back. It flew higher, further, until it became a small shape in the distance. Then nothing at all, gone into the clouds, gone into its own life, its own path. The man stood there, watching the sky, long after the dragon had disappeared, alone again, or at least it seemed that way. But not really, because somewhere out there, far above the world, a dragon lived, free, strong, alive, and it would never forget the human who stepped in